Hello, I'm Kimilia and you're watching KiniNews. Bung Moktar has hit out at Khairy Jamaluddin over the anti-smoking bill. This was after Khairy labelled him as an enemy of public health. Kinabatangan MP Bung Moktar Radin has hit out at former Health Minister Khairy Jamaluddin over his criticism of him for opposing the anti-smoking bill. According to the news Straits Times, Bung questioned who Khairy was, saying that he no longer has a platform and is just a radio announcer. Bung said Khairy wanted to table a law to take away the rights of the people so that they stop smoking. However, he said the public should instead ask him what he was smoking. Bung added that he would reveal what Khairy was smoking in Parliament when the Control of Smoking Products for Public Health Bill 2023 is tabled on June 12. He said he will make the announcement in the Dewan Rakyat where he enjoyed immunity. He also questioned who Khairy is to judge people and whether he is friendly to public health. Yesterday, Khairy had hit out at Bung on his Instagram, labeling the latter as an enemy of public health for opposing the bill. Khairy said Bung had opposed the law to control smoking products while he was minister and still opposes it now. The first version of the bill, named the Control of Tobacco Product and Smoking Bill 2022, was tabled in Parliament last year when Khairy was the health minister, but it did not make it through. Past President Hadi has spoken out against DAP again. This time he warned Chinese and Indian youths not to be swayed by DAP's false narratives. Past President Hadi has warned against the false narratives spread by DAP to sway Chinese and Indian youths. In a post on Facebook today, Hadi claimed that DAP's Malaysia agenda and the secularism the party advocated, which separates religion from political, economic and other affairs, were efforts to unravel what has already been well established. He said maybe youths from the Chinese and Indian communities are unaware of these false narratives as they were born after the country's independence. According to Hadi, their goal is to make the Malays seem racist, when the fact is that the Malays are the least racist. He said this was as the Malays accepted the Jus Soli agenda or birthright citizenship forced on by the colonists as a condition for independence, which saw immigrants from China and India being accepted as citizens. He said the influence of Islam among the Malays makes them accept the existence of non-Malays among them. He added that the Chinese and Indians were even free to run their own businesses, carry out agricultural activities, practice religious freedom, and even have their own vernacular education. Hadi claimed that the Malaysia struggle is the remnants of an agenda by the late Singaporean leader Lee Kuan Yew to oppose Article 153 of the Federal Constitution, which guarantees special rights for the Malays. He stressed that the Malays and the Bumiputra will never ever accept the Malaysia concept, which is now being championed by DAP. He added that non-Muslims should be grateful for being given a place in the country, as many other countries do not accept people who do not share the same ideology as the natives. Lim Kit Siang said he would have been happy if the government had debated the Auditor General's report while he was an MP. However, he said it wasn't the same for Pnmps who had instead plunged Parliament into a one-hour chaos in their opposition to debate it. Lim Kit Siang has criticized Perikatan Nasional MPs who opposed the debate on the 2021 Auditor General's report in Parliament yesterday. In a statement this morning, Lim said in his nearly half a century in Parliament, he would have been ecstatic if the government of the day had agreed to a parliamentary debate on the report. However, he said Pnmps plunged Parliament into a one-hour chaos in their opposition to debate instead, and even worse, carried out a boycott of debate itself. Lim said their actions were irresponsible and undermined the parliamentary process. According to Lim, Pnmps have acted in a very irresponsible manner since the 15th general election, where they challenged the young Di-Pertuan Agong's advice to act in the national interest to provide political stability and ensure that there is national unity in plural Malaysia. He added that now, they are undermining the important parliamentary role to provide checks and balances against executive excess and abuse of power. Lim also hit out at Bersatu's Masjid Tanah MP Mas Ermiati Samsudin, who he said did no service to her role as Public Accounts Committee chairperson when she objected to the debate. He said Mas Ermiati should have stayed in the chamber during the debate to hear what MPs have to say on the Auditor General's report as guidance for the PAC. Lim added that it would be ideal if there is a parliamentary rule for the Auditor General's report to be debated, referenced to the PAC, and then have the PAC report debated. He then questioned whether Pnmps will act with greater responsibility to their parliamentary duties and functions. Chaos had erupted in the Dewan Rakyat yesterday afternoon when Pnmps objected to a motion by the government to debate the 2021 Auditor General's report. The Paris Court of Appeal upheld Malaysia's challenge against the enforcement of a partial award to 8 citizens of the Philippines who are purported heirs of the Sultan of Sulu. Law and Institutional Reform Minister Azalina Othman Said explained that the decision means the claimants cannot rely on the award in France for any purpose. In a statement today, Azalina said the decision, which is final and binding, is a decisive victory for Malaysia. Importantly, she said this decision implies that the Paris Court of Appeal will annul the purported final award in which Gonzalo Stampa remarkably awarded close to $15 billion to the claimants. She added that the government of Malaysia will continue to take all necessary actions, including legal action to put an end to the claims and to ensure that Malaysia's interests, sovereign immunity, and sovereignty are protected at all times. Police have launched an investigation into Sanusi over his claim that Penang belongs to Kedah. Sanusi had his statement recorded on the issue today. Police will question Kedah Menteri Besar Muhammad Sanusi Mat Noor today over his claim that Penang still belongs to Kedah. Police Secretary Noor Syah Saaduddin confirmed that an investigation paper had been opened on the case after police reports were lodged over his remarks. The case is being investigated by Bukit Aman's Classified Crimes Investigation Unit under Section 505(b) of the Penal Code and Section 233 of the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998. Sanusi has been making the claim that Penang belongs to Kedah rather than being a separate state since at least February. He claimed this was backed by academic studies and has demanded the federal constitution be amended to rectify the distortion of history. During the Prime Minister's question time in the Dewan Rakyat yesterday, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim had reiterated that Penang's status as a separate state from Kedah had already been resolved before Malaya's independence and was reaffirmed in the federal constitution. Anwar added that all past agreements signed with the British had been declared void. Rosmah Mansor filed her defense in the 67.46 million ringgit jewelry lawsuit against her by a Lebanese jewelry firm yesterday. Rosmah claimed that the firm sent her millions of ringgit worth of jewelry as part of business publicity without her asking for it. Rosmah Mansor has denied that she asked to be sent millions of ringgit worth of jewelry from a Lebanese firm. She said this in her statement of defense on the 67.46 million ringgit jewelry lawsuit against her by Global Royalty Trading SAL. In her defense, Rosmah claimed that the Lebanese jewelry firm wanted publicity for its business, as she was the wife of then Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak and was interested in her becoming its client. She added that there was no obligation for her to buy the items. According to Rosmah, the purpose of the jewelry pieces being sent to her was for the firm's own benefit and profit by collecting, obtaining, and/or attracting publicity among buyers. In April, Global Royalty had refiled a civil action against Rosmah, seeking the return of jewelry items they claimed to have been sent to Rosmah for viewing purposes. Instead of its return, the firm is seeking to recover the cost of the jewelry, which is 67.46 million ringgit. Global Royalty claimed that in 2018, Rosmah had written to it to confirm receipt of the jewelry but claimed that all the jewelry was no longer in her possession because it was seized and placed under the custody of the authorities. In her statement of defense, Rosmah emphasized that she had taken ordinary prudence care to ensure the jewelry's safety. She said therefore she cannot be made responsible for the loss of the jewelry pieces because they were taken by the Royal Malaysian Police and or the Malaysian government via operation of law, and she is not the cause of the loss. Rosmah added that she cannot be made liable to the firm over the loss of the jewelry as the seizure of the items by the authorities is unforeseeable and only the Malaysian government can be made to pay for the loss suffered by the company. Mahathir's lawyer, Rafiq Rashid Ali, has hit out at RSN Raya over his remarks against the former Prime Minister. Lawyer Rafiq Rashid Ali has called on Jelutong MP RSN Raya to allow the investigation of former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad to run its course. He said this in reply to Raya's call in Parliament yesterday for the government to consider revoking Mahathir's Tun title if he continued his attacks against the royal institution. Raya also urged the police to not hold back their investigation against the former Langkawi MP. Rafiq, who is Mahathir's lawyer, hit out at Raya over the remarks and said that it directly conflicted with his role as a lawyer and undermined the principles of the rule of law. He said the rule of law indicates that one is innocent until proven guilty, and Mahathir has fully cooperated and even has had his statement taken by the police. He also questioned why Raya was hiding behind parliamentary privilege and hitting Mahathir below the belt. Rafiq also pointed to the irony of an MP who is also a lawyer, policing someone's right to express views and freedom of speech, especially as they are from a government bloc which prides itself in being reformist. He added that as a lawyer, Raya should recognize that the law must take its course. On June 2nd, Malaysia Kini reported that police questioned Mahathir regarding statements containing contempt towards the royal institution. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Kimilia. Thanks for watching.